Hello and welcome to your Semester of Art class. To begin with, I want to show you real quickly, since I'm not going to be here today, this is my website and it's at Mrs. Rao's Art Class at Weebly.com, and that's also located at the bottom of your information on your rules and expectations. So let's go ahead, and what you'll be able to do is to go into 8th grade and see art projects, and you can go on here and any of these are some of our different projects. So let's go ahead and see what I have on face drawing. For our face drawing, what you'll see is that there are some tutorials that I usually put up here. There's also some different projects that are done from these are student examples of different projects. So if you go on here and look through some of the different projects, you'll be able to see student examples and some videos and things that I have online for you. So let's go ahead and take a little bit more of a specific look at some of your projects. With your Semester of Art class, you'll begin with third quarter being all 2D design. 2D design is all flat. It's going to be all of your drawing and painting projects primarily. And fourth quarter, we'll be moving on to all of our 3D art. And with our 3D art, that's going to be your building, your clay, that's going to be your metals and those sort of things. So let's go ahead and take a look at third quarter, which is your 2D art quarter. To begin with, we're going to try and do 5 projects, and with our 5 projects, our first one we have here is just a basic introduction to composition and how things are to be arranged on your paper to make them visually interesting. And this is an artist by the name of Wassily Kandinsky, and I know at first whenever you look at this, this is a piece of abstract art, and to begin with it looks very, very random. However, there's random that can be good, and there's random that it can be messy and chaotic. So in this one, we're going to be talking about how to arrange your items for interest, for you to benefit from any piece of artwork and your composition. Our next one that we're going to be taking a look at is your 3-dimensional drawing skills, and for this one we're going to be doing your drawing and your shading. Now this is a little bit of an older example, so they shaded in with chalk. We're going to switch this up a little bit, and instead of shading with chalk, we're going to be shading with pen and ink. So we're going to be using a pen and ink, different type of shading style, because you're in 8th grade now and have progressed to more difficult levels of shading. So we're also going to be doing a painting project. For our painting project, we're going to be working on canvases. For our canvases, you're going to be also choosing a life object, and usually we use magazines for this one. And most of the time it's from nature, but it doesn't have to be from nature. Mrs. Rao has nature magazines, but if you would rather to paint something from, let's say, cars, or something along that line, you're also welcome to bring those in. So we're going to be painting and kind of learning how to mix your colors, do some drawing, and all kinds of things with acrylic paint. This is another drawing project. With our drawing project, we are going to be learning how to draw the human face. And with drawing the human face, usually I give you some time to work up to the full face. We just start off talking about how to draw eyes. We spend an entire class period drawing eyes. Then we draw noses for a class period. Then we draw lips for a class period. And then in the end, we do a half-half. So if you'll notice here that this is half of a person's face. This is the photograph, and this over here is the drawing that the person has done. Then what you do is you take away this and you go ahead and draw the other half of the face. So it is a fully drawn face. Generally I do give you some time to figure out who you would like to draw. Most of the time it's someone famous, an actor or an actress of your choice. Another one that we're going to be doing is a digital photography and alterations unit. So I usually have 2 different assignments for you with this one. You are to do a self-portrait, and here's a student with her self-portrait. You'll notice that the picture is supposed to be about you in your self-portrait, and then we also do one that is a little bit more abstract. So we first of all go outside and take the photos. And then after we have taken all of the pictures, then you're going to be going in and using some software that you're going to be able to crop the images, change the color balance, do a lot of things that you would not be able to see out in nature, but really kind of bring it in and make it more individualized. We have another, that's the end of our first quarter, so let's go ahead and see what our second quarter or fourth quarter for you all would be. So this is going to be our second quarter of art. It's also our fourth quarter for you, and that's going to be your 3D quarter. So goes by a couple different things there. They're all the same. So this is going to be primarily, well, I'm hoping it says 6 projects on here. We did not get through 6 projects in first semester, so I'm still hoping. I'm going to keep all of the projects in here, hoping that we get to do another one. One thing that you have the advantage of is usually second semester or after Christmas happens to be a longer period of time, so usually we have enough time for an extra project. So here is one of our projects. Now you should know that these are not going to necessarily go in order, but these are some of the different projects that we do. So this one is metal casting. If you were in 7th grade art last year, we did a flat stock project where you got a flat piece of metal, which is called flat stock, and all of those pieces that you cut out and were not part of your project after you were finished, those all get put into like a junk pile, and I actually take those and we cast them. So this leads us up to our 8th grade project where you make a mold out of clay, and then you're going to be carving out your design for your mold, and then we cast that metal that came from your 7th grade projects and pour them into your mold to make your 8th grade projects. Once again, you are going to be using some of the same materials you did in 7th grade, such as you might need to do some sawing on your project if you have extra metal. You're going to be using some files, some sandpaper, and those sort of things that you began with in your beginning metals project in 7th grade. And if you didn't take the 7th grade art class, it's okay. You're going to be able to still be able to complete everything and understand. You just might need to pick up things from some of the other students, and I have lots of videos that you can also watch as tutorials. Alright, we are going to be making a clay project. Last semester we only got to 1 clay project. I'm hoping to do 2 clay projects, but I will make no promises. Clay usually takes a little bit longer. This is usually a 1.5 weeks to a 2-week project. So to begin with your clay, we are going to be doing a slab project. For a slab, it is a rolled out wall of clay, and then you form the clay into a cylinder. So you're going to be making a cylinder down the bottom, and this is your cylinder here, and then you're going to be making a fitting lid. So the lid that goes on top needs to fit on your base or your cylinder base that you created. In addition, I'm expecting you to have a sculptural part of your project. So the sculptural part of your project most generally goes on top. We have this one we have our nice 3-dimensional bow. On this one we have our lid that is 3-dimensional. We have a little bit of a sculpture. If you can't tell what this is a spray paint can. And instead of his sculptural piece being on the top, well, it is sort of on the top, but it's also carried down through the bottom. So that is a very successful project that I'm excited about each quarter of our clay projects. Alright, this is one that we did not get to. I was excited to try this one, but we just kind of ran out of time. This is a second slab project. With the second slab project, once again, it's going to be a rolled out wall, and you roll that kind of with a tool that looks like a rolling pin, and you're going to be adding the different walls together to create a shoe. So if you look at the different parts of a shoe, you can think about how they all are connected and kind of move with each other, and then you take your clay and move them in those ways. This one also has some fun additive designs that would not be a necessity in your project, but this one I thought was kind of a neat way to go. Neat images. We do an architecture project that is different from our 7th grade project. Usually in 7th grade we use a floorplanner.com, and with Floor Planner it's very much about the inside of the project. This is much more about the outside of the project, and with this one we're going to be studying several different architectural styles, and one here we have a famous architect by the name of Frank Lloyd Wright, and with his style it was very much about incorporating land, incorporating nature, which this one does somewhat. This is his prairie style. We'll be talking about how to make things 3-dimensional or building from the outside, and With this one, we usually do 3 small projects. So we go over a little bit of modern architecture, a little bit of different types of architecture. We'll talk more about that when we get there, but this is Google SketchUp. Another project that we took a shortcut on for second quarter was an animation project. Students have still had a lot of fun with it. I'm hoping to get more of a storyline with this one. In this one, this is stop motion animation, and if you'll see my example here, this is supposed to be Mrs. Rao with a camera making an animation. So it's an animation of an animation. So that was my storyline, having a little bit of fun with clay animation. We have metalworking,